Happy Bandcamp Friday. Hope you're well. It is another Bandcamp Friday night, kicking off the weekend with some new tunes, some new releases over the course of this past month, some of them new today. I hope you're well. And, that even if you haven't made it to Bandcamp Friday with a finished track, that you still got the spirit to, keep working on that track, get it out there. And I guess before we get into today's releases, that's something we're going to touch on very mildly, very quickly, which is in the event. So one of the things you need in your music making program, in your music making plan, I guess, is a plan, and a plan usually comes with a schedule. And for me, Bandcamp Fridays have sort of been an easy schedule because, it's just a fun thing to kind of schedule your activities around. And all of the things that I'm releasing recently, the past year or so, are all kind of demo tracks that will all be reworked into an EP. So I'm releasing them exclusively to Bandcamp as a sort of pre-release demo single type of thing. And then once I have X amount of tracks of any given project, I will rework them and make an official EP and release it to Spotify and everything else. And maybe even do physical copies, who knows? But an important part of seeing that all of that through is a plan and a schedule. And like I was saying, I use the Bandcamp Friday thing as my natural schedule for that demo process. Excuse me. I think that a track a month is perfectly reasonable. However, for myself, quite a bit goes into a track. And I guess this is the spoiler alert. I don't have a track today. And what I'm getting at is if you don't have a track, and if you've, busted ass to get up to that day, you've adhered to your schedule and you've made the most of your time and you still have nothing. Some people will kind of be crushed by that. I used to be crushed by that. The reason I bring it up is because I would get completely deflated. I am that kind of personality, I guess, naturally. Not so much now that I'm a 50-year-old man. I don't know. I managed to chill out. But, I'm no longer deflated when it comes to these sorts of things. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's going to take more for me to get this track done. And I have two options. Either A, I don't have to release it on a Bandcamp Friday. I can release it any day of the week whenever it's done, especially seeing as these things are all sort of demo singles leading up to an actual official release. So I could do that, or I could just wait till next Bandcamp Friday and maybe I'll have two tracks, which is sweet too. So there's always something like a sweet or positive option if you haven't made it, if you haven't made your goal, if you haven't made your schedule. So for those of you who have missed your schedule, I missed my schedule this month. And don't worry, it's not too bad. The huge benefit is that you already have some things squared away. Even if you're not that far along in putting your track together, hopefully you've squared away some of the stuff, the thinking that's required to approach this track. You're like, okay, well, I know all the things that don't work. And I know what the problem is. Like, let's say, the beats aren't right. I got these cool riffs and the beats aren't right. What is it about the beats? So I've identified the beats are wrong or whatever the case may be. But, where you are right now, even if you haven't made your schedule, you have something, I guess is the point. You have something and you have options. So yeah, for those of you who have not made these things or you're feeling left out or whatever, don't sweat it. By the way, I got this like wicked blister right here, blood blister. If you're like, what's that black thing on Bunn's hand? Part of it is crud, but this part is just a blood blister because I was hanging some art for my baby darling, and the art fell and pinched my hand, and I have war wounds, art war wounds. But we got some folks in the stream here. It's great to see you guys. Happy Friday night. Happy Bandcamp Friday. We've got Tim Wheeler, 13 Flies, Electric Meat Puppet, RoughRiffs, and and a few more just not in the chat, but that's fine. Welcome to the stream. We do this once a month, every month. And we're rolling out more. There's more videos. I just have to finish editing them for produce videos. And I'm playing around with some other things for band lists. We'll probably talk about it in the Discord as I get closer to it, like testing things out. But for those of you who are not part of the Discord, if there is anyone who is not part of the Discord, I put the Discord link in the chat, and it is, what do you call it? It is an active link for the next 24 hours. So anyone who feels like they're left out on the Discord thing, now is your opportunity to get involved. It's a brilliant community, and people are, on the daily sort of championing each other, pushing each other in the most positive way. It's not like, holding people accountable in a negative way. But everyone's very supportive. It's an amazing place. So we're going to get into it. I'm going to just dig into the comments here a little bit. Tim Wheeler saying, what's up, brother? What's up, Tim? All is good here. I have to move the light out of the way of the chat. 13 Flies, good day. Electric Meat Puppet, howdy. And RoughRiffs, greetings. And 13 Flies, with age comes wisdom sometimes. I'll agree with that. There's a lot of things I'm really dumb on. 50 years hasn't been long enough to, to get wise enough. But in some areas, like, fantastic amount of perspective gained. So very thankful. And the glass half full mentality. Yeah, I highly recommend the glass half full mentality, especially if you know that you're prone to a glass half empty priority. Take stock of what you have. Very helpful, very good idea, because I used to be the opposite. I know what it's all about. But development of a void. How are you, man? Hope all is well. Welcome. Happy Bandcamp Friday. But we're going to get into some releases here. And I just need to set it up. Same thing as usual. I only have this one screen. It's a little bit to manage. But we're going to kick off this one with an interesting thing, with a little bit of an interesting story, I guess. And maybe we'll make this all the way across. Yeah, there we go. You can't see what I'm doing. Apologies. But what did we realize? It was camera bottom, right? Yes, bam. And you're like, that's a picture of you, Bunn. Not exciting. I agree. But I'm going to just play the clip real quick here. Hopefully it's loud enough. That is definitely one. Okay, here we go. Maybe I'll put a drum roll in here. The winner of the ML1 Modern Baritone is, let's check it out here, Cameron Lamont. I hope you're stoked. I'm stoked. So we're going to go back here. We're going to go to this, and I'm going to just make sure that I can see my frame. So a couple of years ago, what was the year on that? Let's just take a look real quick. 2018, August 2018. So I probably actually, yeah, it was August 2018. So in August 2018, excuse me, I gave away a Chapman ML1 Modern Baritone on the channel. I bought it to do a demo on it. I didn't really like the guitar. it like the guitar played fine, it sounded fine. It just like the style, it didn't fit into my aesthetic. But for a bunch of reasons, not going to get into that. But I was like, oh, do I sell the guitar? Do I try to return the guitar now that I've done the demo? And I'm like, that's not very cool. So I'm like, oh, I'll give it away. You know, it was expensive enough, but I kind of needed a little bit of a kick to kind of sort of kickstart my channel. It wasn't very far along. And in doing that, that giveaway, I don't know, I received or generated, I guess, maybe 2,000 more subscribers, something like that, close to that, in the giveaway, which was great, you know. And I got to give a guitar to a person who really wanted one and really, in this case, really needed one. And so this here is the project. It went up a couple months ago, but I keep forgetting to get around to it. But this is the project of said Cameron Lamoth, and he used the guitar for it. And, you know, the project is called Grave Irradiate. And in keeping with the bandless thing, he is the sole creator of everything. He, you know, wrote and recorded everything, came up with all the drums and everything on his own. I believe he played real drums on this. We'll take a listen to it though. But he also did the artwork. He is a like an art guy, like that. He's an artist, and he has experience with quite a bit of experience with graphics. And he printed this himself with I guess it's a lino print. But yeah, I'm pretty blown away by it. I'm super stoked to see someone, you know, the person who won this guitar is doing this all by himself, totally bandless.
In an age of both knowledge and ignorance, the greater our knowledge increases, the greater our ignorance unfolds.
So as you know, with all of the things, we play a sample, and if you'd like to, you know, follow up with it, I put the link in the stream, in the, what do you call it? The chat. And you can follow up with it and listen to the whole thing yourself on your own time, on your own hi-fi system. But Grave Irradiate. Cameron Lamoth is the creator. He lives really far north in Ontario, same province that I'm currently in, but at the other end of it. So you might as well live in Florida. But oh, look at that! You can see my stream. Great. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, Yoshi Cooper. By the way, the image that was used as the thumbnail was taken by my friend Yoshi Cooper. He now lives in Japan, but yeah, he lived in Toronto for a bunch of years, and he was a live music photographer and took a ton of photos of a ton of my bands. But anyway, so I'm just gonna go to the chat here, and we're gonna talk a little bit about that tune, and I'm gonna queue up the next tune for Bandcamp Friday. What time is it? I got to keep on top of the time. But bam, I'm moving the light out of the way here. 13 Flies says we never stop learning. I hope not. That's like maybe my favorite thing about life is learning stuff. Development Avoid says a glass always full if oxygen is important. Good point, touche. And that just blasted my speakers, and I'm not turning it down. It on the meters, it doesn't say that. It says it's the same volume as the voice. So if the music is way too loud, let me know. But the meters that I have tell me that it is equal. If it's very unequal, let me know. As always. Development of a Void. You like the Grave Irradiate jams? Yeah. The name is difficult to say and remember, which I like the name, but it's unfortunate because it's harder for it to spread. And it's cool stuff. Especially that's his first effort ever, and I'm pretty impressed. I'm like, wow. So yeah, he's not unlike all of us. Chris, how are you? Synth Chris is in the house. Good to see you. Camera looks great. Amazing. Thanks, man. Because of the way that I can do this here, I can light it better than at my other place. It's hard to get a light in to the right place over there. And RoughRiffs, Synth Chris, how you doing? Oh, you guys are having inner chats. I like that. And no, it wasn't clipping on my end, the audio. Okay, great. We're going to move along. Thank you, Development of a Void. The technical assistance is highly appreciated because I'm not great at this. So we're going to move along to the next clip for Bandcamp Friday. I believe this came out maybe today. We'll be able to double check the, whatchamacallit. We'll be able to double check the date. Yes, November, a couple days ago. So just before. So software, here we go. We're going to change to camera bottom. There we go. All right, David Hollowell. Another track by Mr. David. He's pretty stoked on this one. He's like, I definitely feel like I'm pushing past my previous stuff. So that's an amazing feeling. I know what it feels like. I'm sure everybody knows what it feels like. But let's take a listen and then we'll talk about it. Very cool. A lot more wilder chords and movement than previous. This is the second of this group of tracks, but I guess the one of 3 from this year. Is this year? Yes, this is this year. So, yeah, David, moving along. Awesome. I'm going to change cameras here before I go back to the YouTube panel. And we'll get the link in there. There we go. So Mr. David, jamming along, pushing past his previous own, or pushing beyond his previous own boundaries, his previous own difficulties, artistic, anchors and whatnot. Very cool. Nice to hear. And yeah, keep pushing, keep recording, keep sharing. It is the best way to get to where you want to go. And I think Synth Chris in the house, Synth Chris is an amazing example of this, because in, I don't know, what, 5 years, 6 years, really kind of, really blossomed. And I think it's because the way of how you did it. You just did it, started right away, jumped in, kept doing it, kept sharing it. And I think, I think it's the way to do it. And did I put it in there? Oh, I didn't press enter. There we go. So link is in the chat if you want to follow up with the track and listen to it on your own system. Just gonna hit the chat here for a brief moment. RoughRiffs also doing pretty awesome. Hard to be unpumped with my recent job change a month in, and it keeps being awesome. That's great, man. When you have a great sort of work or home life situation, it really actually helps, even if you're really busy, to continue being stoked about things like music. Like when you go home to do that thing, it's way easier to do it when you're like, oh, I had a great day at work. It's easier to leave your day at work. I've had every variation of good to awful jobs, so I know the gradient very well. And Chris, you're doing the job jam as well, and university. You're doing the development stuff, I guess. And RoughRiffs, awesome. And 13 Frogs, brutal. I'm digging this. Awesome. Gnarly tone, harmony going in the, I dig the harmony thing. Was like really surprising and is really different than what I would have ever expected. So that was pretty cool. And development of void, I don't know what a Vorpal is, but I imagine that's exactly what it sounds like. I love it. I love that. Nar Antlers, hello, my dude. How are you? I hope all is well, man. Nar Antlers has been sorting out some details with a new Dan Electro, and we're very excited to see where it lands and how it sounds and all that kind of stuff, because there's some mods going on. And Synth Krista says, also by being a cheapskate, by doing everything yourself and just just going for it. Yeah, well, I don't know if that's a cheapskate as much as it is like a can-do attitude. And but however you want to look at it is totally cool. No worries there. But yeah, going for it and sharing everything and being like, at the beginning, being like, oh, well, I'm not very good at this, but I'm not going to get better at it if I don't do it. So, there's a proof in the pudding. Synth Chris, now a pro. It's a great segue, actually, because next on the list is Synth Chris. I didn't even really recognize it, or I didn't realize it in the conversation. It just sort of worked out that way. But Synth Chris, you're up. For those of you in the band list, you may be already familiar or aware of Synth Chris's release here. A lot of tracks, and we're going to just go over here. And I'm going to play Rotting Till the End instrumental. And yeah, we'll see what's going on. so thick. I want to play a little bit of the vocal version as well. Oh, it's so heavy, man. I love that you do all the vocal versions and also release all the instrumental versions as well. I'm a huge fan of instrumental music. I don't dislike vocal music, by the way, but I just really appreciate that, by the way. Chris, did I grab the URL? Yeah, great tones, great production, great playing, as always. Really heavy, lots of tracks. Where does it cross over here? At Nod. Monolith, Nod. So yeah, 12 tracks and available in both vocal and instrumental versions. Amazing. And heavy as balls. Like so heavy. Where is my little thing here? I want to cross it over before okay, there we go. Lots of clicks that I got to do to get back to the chat. I'm going to put Chris's link in the Bandcamp. That came out over the course of this last month. And totally bandless, but he collaborates with vocalists. So the vocalists are not part of his, like they're not in his band, so to speak. He will collaborate with people. So there will be a number of different vocalists on that release. I don't think I'm wrong about that. Let me just double check. No, I'm right about that. Great. But awesome work as always. Synth, Chris, I'm stoked for you to, I'm stoked that you got that out. And I think it's up on, it's Bandcamp Friday, so all purchases 100% goes to the artists today. But I think that's also on Spotify, is it not? You can confirm. I'm pretty sure it is. But I didn't double check, but I'm certain I heard it there. I could be wrong. And the folks are saying also, and 13 Flies never disappoints. No. Since Chris, he's got the riffs. The instant brutality spooked me for a second there since I wasn't prepared. Yeah, it's so brutal. Damn, Chris, that's pretty monstrous. Yeah, it's giant sounding. And Nar Antlers. Vorpal is an old school dice, D&D weapon property for chance. Oh, amazing. Chance to instantly decapitate. That's hilarious. I used to play D&D, but clearly not enough to know that. But it was also about 45 years ago, maybe 40 years ago, which is wild to think about. I've been alive that long. That's crazy. 13 Flies, so chunky, you could carve it. Yeah, 100%. Chris is stoked you guys like it. Always like to include the instrumental versions. Yeah, really appreciate that. If I think going forward, I'm working on a new Vens EP. I'm going to release a Vens, an official Vens EP with vocals and all that kind of stuff. And I think of that version, they'll probably do the same thing. I never did it before. Yeah, it's cool. I really dig it. Development Avoid. I'm making a Bandcamp this weekend. Finally, hopefully I can join you all very soon. Yeah, please do. I have a video that I'm putting together about, it just needs to be edited, but it's, starting a Bandcamp and some of the things to consider in putting it together, and how to navigate some of the things. Some people get tripped up on stuff. It's like, oh, it's asking me about ISRC codes. And, so we'll talk about some of the things that maybe people are worried about getting wrong in starting a profile so that you can get a profile together and get going. The short answer on it is just start a profile and get going. Yeah, Synth Christ, Spotify and Apple for sure. Okay, cool. It is up everywhere. I'm not crazy. Sometimes I feel like I got it all wrong, like it was a dream. Beard Guy, how are you, man? Can't stay for the whole hang, but I'm stoked to see everyone's tunes. Yeah, man. Everyone's got sick tunes. We're going to queue up another one here. This one, another bandless member, bandless pal. This one is going to be a little bit different than usual, but also a solo creator, a bandless creator, which always gets me super stoked. This one is from Apoplexia, and it is in collaboration with Game Chops. Not sure what's going on here, or maybe he. I'm not sure if he did it. We'll be able to tell right away. I didn't get the full scoop there. He might just like this. It's crazy. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's Apoplexia did this, and it's in collaboration with the Game Chops thing, but like he made it all. Hopefully he'll pipe in and let us know the exact details if you need to know the exact details. But let's grab the URL here. Bam, bam, bam. And for those of you who don't know, Apoplexia, he kind of hangs in both ponds, or in many ponds, let's say. He does the heavy guitar thing, and he has a number of guitars, and he produces stuff with a lot of gain and crushing riffs. But he also does drum and bass and more electro. This is like electro vintage kind of vibes. I really like it. That electro vintage thing is pretty hot at the moment. Like a lot of people want more of it. So it sounds really good. And I think we're going to just move forward because I got two from Apoplexia, which is his quarantine riff. So he released this a little bit ago, but we never really kind of got it out there. We didn't talk about it. We didn't talk about this release in the last... whatchamacallit, last bandless or whatever. So these are riffs, like kind of amalgamation of his guitar stuff and his beats. Yeah, so we're going to listen to the first one, Gent and Bass, because that's funny. And once again, I'm going to drop the link in the chat so you can follow up with the whole track if you like that. I think it's like super cool. Some of them have more of the breakbeat stuff than others, but yeah, he's attempting to sort of fuse the gap between his interests and explore like what are the creative opportunities in that. Pretty great. I got to switch back to the thing so I can drop the link in there for you all. And we got 2 links coming at you. Bam. This one is the first the first more electro-oriented one, the retro electro. That really rhymes perfectly. Retro electro. Bam. The rock band bass stuff. And then bam. Bam, bam, bam. And bam, this one is the, whatchamacallit, gent and bass oriented stuff, which is super fun. Very, very cool. So we're just going to hang out in the comments for a moment. Got to move the light out of the way here a little bit. Everybody's stoked to see Beard Guy. It is very good to see you, Mr. Beard Guy. I see you still slaying demons. Synth Chris, change of pace. Yeah, for the retro electro kind of stuff. Yeah, it's quite a bit different, and I really like it. I really like that sort of retro synth sound. I appreciate the fact that there are people who are kind of working with the sound, but doing something new inside of the sound. And I think that's what Apoplexia is doing. That's my opinion. I don't know. Like, it's up to you. Don't let me sway you. You decide for yourself. But I thought it's really cool. And the gent and bass thing. I think there's a lot of possibilities there, and I'd like to hear more of a fusing, even more. And I think Apoplexia is the person to do it. Maybe an Apoplexia Synth Chris, what do you call it? Collaboration. Maybe that's something that needs to be out there. Just putting it out there. I don't know. Seems kind of perfect. Just saying. But we're going to move along here to another Bandcamp Friday release. Another bandless fella. More of the bandless folks. Let's go to our switcher. Bam. And we're going to go camera bottom. There we go. Bam. So K-Nug. Dominic from Germany. Amazing dude. I think he's a Polish dude. But lives in Germany. I've talked to him about it, but I can't remember because a lot of information hitting me every day. But amazing guitar player, producer. This guy is one of those sort of. He's just like, I guess he's just been doing it for so long and has just like explored so much of it. But he's like kind of the ideal solo creator in terms of how far he pushes and gets really great results with very everyday kinds of things. Not really everyday kinds of things, but like he has some things that are special in terms of guitars and whatnot. But with like cameras or even recording gear or whatever, he doesn't use all of the best stuff. He just uses whatever is available to him, whatever he can. And some of the things he uses, he gets crazy results out of. But it's just like grinding. Like he'll grind for a year on one release and just to get the mix right. Not that I'm not saying it's necessarily worth it or necessarily the best course of action to grind forever on a single thing. I think, Dominic, he'll cut it off. He'll be like, good enough, time to move on. So he will grind on something as long as it takes to get it to where he wants it, but he will move on. And I think that part's really important. So I just want to be clear that I'm not sort of hero worshiping this idea of spending forever on one thing. Spending a while to get inside something, not only to get it right, but also to develop your ability within that thing, to achieve mastery within the parameters of the thing that you're working with. So I think he really pushes there. With some stuff we're going to play some of it. I might as well just play it. Carried away here. I'm going to play the whole track. It's not that long. Great sounds and really great composition. I guess it has some of those djenty kind of flavors, but I wouldn't really call it djent music, but it definitely maybe neighbors some of that. So folks who like that kind of sound might like that a lot. I just think it's pretty great. But that's his most recent release. I'm going to drop the, I think November 2nd. Yeah, November 2nd, he released that. Bam, going to put that in there. Press enter. Yeah, we got them all. Yeah, we got them all. Great. But yeah, Dominic, he's a member of the Baritone Obsessed community, the Facebook community. And I actually came to know Dominic through Synth Chris. Synth Chris and Dominic got friendly, I guess, on Instagram first, and that's how this whole world kind of got connected. So props to Synth Chris for, bringing Dominic into that part of our world. So the bass, he recently got a Dingwall NG2, and that's sort of his first test recording with it. And they sound great, but he also knows how to make things sound great. So Development of Void, I'm down to, let's go a little bit earlier. Oh, I love it. Oh yeah, I love it. A collab, Aposynthia. Development of Void, I'm down to collab. He's looking for collabs or cool with collabs. Beer Guy, if anyone has riffs or bass lines, we can start a collab channel in the Discords. Absolutely. Highly recommend collabs. And the Discord's an amazing place to do it. And since Chris uses that bass, yeah, it's a great tone, eh? RoughRiffs, dude, I feel like I'm swirling seriously through, though this is sick. I just love the way he puts things together. Oh man, I wish I could hear this live. Yeah, I think it would be pretty huge. Something along the lines of progressive post-metal. Yeah, that's probably a good way to look at it. Oh man, I don't remember at all Synth Chris. I think in relationship to what I was saying about his initial communication with Dominic. Yeah, because you and I had a conversation about him, and I had noticed some of his content in the Instagram feed, but you reached out to him right away because he was doing the Harley Benton thing. He was one of the first guys to be using the Harley Benton vintage sit bass, whatever, the 30-inch Harley Benton, and you reached out to him. And then he ended up in the Baritone Obsessed Facebook group. Long story, but kind of interesting how it's all connected. And 13 Flaws, I'm up for collabs. Don't know if I could bring much to the table. It's not the way to think. It's like you bring to the table what you bring to the table. In a collab, that's how it works. The key to a collab is just to be able to make sure that you can do it. And I think organizing, like, it helps if both people use the same DAW and these sorts of things. And if you're not both using the same DAW, how do you work around that and work with it and all that kind of stuff? So what do you call it? The logistics and the navigation of it. That's the most important thing of a collab. Second, for people to fully dive into the collaboration of it and fully accept, like, this is what this other person's bringing to it. What can I do with it? This is what I'm bringing to it. What can I do with what I'm given, etc. And that's the magic of it. That's the beauty of it. So don't worry about, what you like. I understand. It's like a little unnerving. It's like, oh, can I contribute to this? But that's also the beauty of it. 13 Flaws, collabs. Yes. Synth Chris might have been a different person. I found his stuff through you, Bunn. I think you just talked to him first. Maybe I brought it up, but I think you talked to him. And maybe I just have a bad memory, or maybe my memory wants to make it up in a different way. That's possible. I'm 50 years old, so not quite. Couple more months, 2 more months. Not even, but I have the older brain, which means it might be a little bit more broken. And Development of Void, I think that you, 13, I think you have a lot to bring to the table. You're solid and very structured. Yeah, 100%. I'm 100% with Development of a Void there. And a good coordinator too, 100%. Yeah, like without a doubt. So yeah, those are definitely good things. So I have one more, whatchamacallit. What do we got here? One more solo creator, bandless folk for the stream for today. This one's a little bit outside of our regular, but pretty interesting. So this fella is from Minnesota, and he's been doing this for a long time. And he's a graphic designer by day and does this music stuff, by night and whatnot. This is what I understand. I could be wrong. You can follow it up, I'm sure, if you're interested. But he takes this interesting amalgamation of sort of the early Meshuggah kind of vibes and flavors, and then doom metal, and then jazz, and kind of mixes it all up. I'm usually not a huge fan of like heavy crossovers where there's so much crossover that I'm just like, I don't know what's happening. But this is kind of one of those things, but it's pretty kick-ass. And I guess we're gonna go with Last Witness. Yeah, it has a long intro, but I want to. So I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit and play where you get more of a full, complete idea of what Combat Astronomy sounds like. But this was recently released, October 22nd, at the end of October. And I didn't know about it actually until today, because Bandcamp does those, recently released, especially on Bandcamp Friday. They kind of really try to pump it. And I've purchased numerous other of his releases, and but he does it all himself. He collaborates with other musicians, but yeah, here we go. So I am going to skip this because it takes a while. Cut it off. As always, you can follow up with it on your own time. I adore this project. This particular release, if you're interested in following it up, because it never really comes up, but Barricades, Flak Planet, and Earth Divided by Zero, those 3 releases are kind of like really amazing. I'm really excited to jump into this one, Shamanic Insurgency. I have not fully explored it yet. I just found out about it today. But I'm going to get the link into the chat there for y'all. And that's going to sum that one up. But yeah, all solo creators today. Sometimes we do include sort of more band-oriented stuff on occasion, but usually I like to keep it to the bandless folk, not necessarily in the bandless organization or group or whatever. Oh, come on. There we go. Bam. Combat astronomy. But I like to keep it on topic. Like that is folks who are doing everything themselves. And that project, Combat Astronomy, was a huge inspiration for me to kind of go forward with doing it all the way that I do it and all the way that we all do it. So, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you can find something in that that's interesting. That's I just love that project so much. It doesn't all build that slow. Some of it is very immediate. Some of it is, I definitely suggest going through the catalog. So we're just going to be hanging out in the chat to the end here. I'm going to have to cut it off right around 9 because I have a crazy amount of things still to do. But I thought this would be a rad way to kick off the weekend and Bandcamp Friday and celebrate all of that. Sometimes we go a lot later, but I won't be able to do that tonight. But in the chat, we've got... and right, all of the you guys have inner chats. Super Metroid boss vibe. That tone is disgusting. I think you guys are talking. I think this is about Combat Astronomy. Could be wrong, but the chaotic build and the disgusting tone. Yeah, it's what I love about the Combat Astronomy stuff is it's really organic. Even if it's really nasty, it's really organically nasty. Or if it's really kind of like chunky, it's really organically chunky. And it straddles a lot of territory, so it's, you know, it's actually hard to describe, but everything is very organic. Even though the drums are all electronic, it's all Superior drummer, and it's pretty robotic. For some reason, it's still got this organic quality to it. It's very strange to my ears anyway. So yeah, I'm glad some of you guys dig it. And Synth Chris, also I'd be down to contribute something to the collab if I've got the time. Beard Guy, I don't know what I'm hearing, but I never knew I could be into something like this. Yeah, Beard Guy, I'm so with you on that. I generally don't like horns very much. I don't have a problem with horns. It just, there's not a lot of music with horns that I'm like, you know, I'm into this. There are some, like Take 5, you know, or whatever. There's some jazz that I actually do like the horns. But generally, I don't know, horns just are very friction on my ears. They're a hard instrument for me to hear, listen to. But when I very first heard Combat Astronomy, I was struck with those two things. A, I'm like, I love this. And B, it has tons of horns, and I don't like horns, but I love this. So it's interesting to hear that you're kind of having a similar feeling. It might not be because of the horns, but yeah, very interesting. Hell yeah, Chris. Okay, cool. My Beard Guy, my full band is taking time away from my bandless endeavors. I wish to be in a band, and now that I am, I'm kind of missing the free time I had before to write my own stuff. Yeah, this is one of the things about, yeah, it's not a bad thing to be in a band. And 13 Flaws, can we get a shout out to the community challenge? The more, the merrier. Right. So those of you who are not aware, I always assume that everybody's aware, but the Bandless, in the Bandless Discord, we do a monthly community challenge, and 13 Flaws is kind of the, he is the incubator, the instigator, the coordinator. He is the person who's putting it all together and managing it. So huge tip of the hat to 13 Flaws. Would like to, if you can give some props to 13 Flaws, that would be great, because it's a lot of work. But we're on to our second round of the community challenge. And what is it? It is, there are some sort of parameters set, and it could be some musical assets that are shared that you have to work with, or an image that you have to draw inspiration from, something. There's some parameters surrounding building a piece of music. And it's a small commitment, like, you know, a minute worth of music or less. And it's designed in such a way that anybody can participate, and open usually enough that to all skill levels. And it, you know, I can't stress enough that especially if you think that you're really novice, you should especially participate, because it's an amazing opportunity to develop in ways that you were never thinking of developing, and to apply yourself creatively. It's different when you apply yourself creatively to a sort of problem solving type of situation, when you're kind of given a task. You're like, oh, you have to work with these things. So it's essentially problem solving. It's creativity, but from a perspective of problem solving. And it's a great exercise in music and in creativity in general to make stuff. So that's in the Discord. The Discord link is at the top of the chat. I will include it again. How do we do this? Bam. Create channel. Server settings. How do I do this? Invite people. And edit link 7 days. Where it's going to be one day. So this is good for 24 hours. Generate new link. Bam. Copy. Bam. And get it over there. Bear with me. And great. So we're in there. Check plug. No. So yeah, the Discord community challenge. Would like to see more participants. No pressure. You know, if you're not comfortable doing it, don't do it. But if you're not doing it because you feel too novice for some reason, you should especially do it. And nothing but love from the community, no matter what your skill level is. It's not about being great. No one gets any better by not doing. But I'm going to shut it down. I'd like to thank everybody who joined us in the stream tonight. We checked out a lot of really great music, and all the links are in the chat for you to check out. I'm going to actually include the links in the description as well. I don't think I did that last time. And I'm like, why am I not doing that? So actually, I'll probably put it in the comments so that they're more publicly visible. But anyway, that's it for tonight. No big CTA or anything like that. Huge thanks to everybody with us at Patreon. If you're interested in getting involved with Bandless, either just as a community member or to kind of like push things along so that we can do more. We're getting ready to do a little bit more. My creative work life is crazy, and I plan to do way more. So yeah, the links to everything are in the description. But that's it for tonight. Happy Friday. Thanks for hanging out, and thanks to everyone who's just cool and going for it and being creative and putting themselves out there, because it's hard, and I appreciate it, and hopefully it will be an inspiration to others to put themselves out there. But glad I caught the hang today. Yeah, glad everyone was here. But we're going to shut her down. Have an amazing weekend. Pick up that guitar or whatever instrument you prefer, and get to it and enjoy it. Go at it from a perspective of enjoyment, not stress. If you feel stressed, be like, whoa, wait a minute. What is it that I like about this thing? And get into that idea, and then start making the music. So, yeah. Like how I'm the boss. Bossing you around, not bossing anyone around. Have a good weekend, guys. Chilling out here, or getting out.